Hi everyone, it's Perlin here again, and today we're joined by Peter Bragiel, who is a very experienced traveler and the star of his own show In Transit TV on YouTube. And in this show, he goes on awesome adventures all over the world, such as like riding the Trans-Siberian Railroad through Russia and canoeing down the Mississippi River, and many other travel adventures that he documents and shares on YouTube. So thank you, Peter, very much for joining us today.
Of
And can you
course.
just give us a quick background about how you got into traveling and into in-transit TV?
Sure. Well, Perlin, thanks for having me, and to everyone watching this, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, quick background. Well, I grew up in Chicago. My parents are from Poland originally, so as a kid, I spent a lot of years traveling with my family at a young age. We'd either go to Poland or travel around America by road trips, and it was just sort of ingrained in me, I guess, in some way all my life. There was always some sort of travel component. So when I had the ability to travel on my own, I felt comfortable, having two older brothers who traveled before me on their own. So I was able to, be inspired and gain wisdom from them. So I guess that sort of segued into YouTube. I was making videos on YouTube, like music videos, comedy sketch type of stuff when YouTube first came out. And having done that, or having released those videos, I realized that I wanted to create more of an episodic type of format. So I focused on travel, something that I was very familiar with and comfortable with. And this was like around 2007 that I made the switch from music videos and comedy sketch kits to travel, because it was something that I knew really well, and I just wanted to, like I think most people who get into the travel video game, they want to do it as a living. They want to find that magic path to success where they can travel and then make a living out of it. So that was always like that, the manifestation in my head was like, how can I do this? How can I do this? So I initially wanted to walk across the United States, but before I did that, I did a test series of walking from Los Angeles to San Diego, and then the videos got kind of popular. At that time, YouTube was an editorial type of site, so if you got your video featured, then chances were you're going to get a lot of views and people were going to subscribe to you. Well, I take that back. Back then, subscription wasn't really a form of, I guess it wasn't a thing really.
Yeah.
So yeah, that got me started doing the travel online thing, because I always wanted to be a host of a travel show, and not knowing how to go that route, I took to YouTube and filmmaking. Something I was also very actually I was less experienced in filmmaking than I was in travel. So I learned how to film through my traveling. So I just kept doing that, and then other trips inspired me to get out and explore. So then we did the scooter trip and whatever, blah blah blah. I can go on through the
Yeah.
chronological order and stuff like that.
I've seen it on your travel. I definitely recommend checking out Peter's channel because some of the trips are, are pretty fun and entertaining to watch.
Well, thanks, man.
And so in your videos, you do a lot of like very cheap travel and very adventurous type travel. What made you choose that type of travel over, say, like package tour holidays, or sort of more expensive travel that a lot of people are used to, like they're used to just the 2 weeks a year type holiday travel? Um, what made you choose the cheaper type of travel to make your show
Yeah.
around?
Definitely. Well, I think there was a void that I wanted to fill in the travel video space. Watching a bunch of, I don't want to say garbage on TV. I was left feeling that I wasn't excited about that, and I didn't want to travel that way. I was still young. I wanted to party. I wanted to see fun things. I wanted to see chaos in my travels. I didn't want to see everything so cut and so pristine. So I think that's sort of what inspired me to do that. And having grown up traveling with my parents, we did a little bit of both. We did the adventure side of travel, and then we also did some of the, more resorty type of things. And I remember one trip in particular being on like a tour bus and looking out the window and seeing this kid. He was probably like a couple years younger than me, and I was like 14 years old. And he was running alongside the bus, and he started like shooting his finger at me, just like a little, fake finger gun.
Yeah.
And I felt like such a little bitch, man. I was like, he probably couldn't even see me because the glasses were tinted, the windows were tinted. And I remember just thinking, like, I want to get off at this stop right now and confront this kid. Not to fight, not to do anything, but I just wanted to like be there instead of be a passerby. So when the opportunity came and I was looking for a shtick in the travel video space, I thought I would just do budget backpacking, and then something that's a little more attainable to my generation or people that are looking to explore and don't have a lot of money, but say have time.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I can definitely relate with that feeling. I've done different types of travel, and I've done sort of package things, like especially like when they have package deals, like in America where everyone goes down to Cancun and goes partying, or they go over to Europe on like a Kentucky tour or things like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun, but you sort of quickly discover that you don't really get exposed to the culture very much because you're isolated in the group that you're traveling with, and they're all tourists as well, and so you're just sort of spending more time with tourists than you are integrating yourself into whatever culture that surrounds you. And then when I've traveled to different cultures just by myself, I found it like much more exciting because you don't know what's going to happen, and you can go and do your own thing. And instead of viewing travel, you sort of experience travel, which I found is a sort of a big transition you can make in terms of the enjoyment you get out of travel, and from like viewing it to like experiencing it. Like you said, with the bus window is like tinted, so you're like
Hmm.
separated from the things
Yeah.
you're viewing.
Yeah, I think uncertainty is the fuel of adventure travel, and a lot of people, are I guess in some ways, set off by it, or they want to know what their itinerary is, they want to know what's going to happen, and on the flip side, there are people like you who are willing to embrace that, the I guess the uncertainty, the unknown. And yeah, it's a great experience, and it's not for everybody, but I think it's worth a shot, and everyone should go out there and try to get out of their comfort zone and just be a spectator, but be within the culture instead of just watching it on TV, because you're basically doing that then when you're going to those package tours. And it depends on what you're looking for. Those are great introductions into getting out of the country. If it's your first time leaving the
Yeah.
States or wherever you live and you just need to get out, then yeah, I recommend taking baby steps, even just to get a passport and get out of the country is a big leap for some people. So you don't have to go on a crazy wild adventure right away. You can ease into it and then see what you like, and then go accordingly.
Yep, for sure. And a lot of the people that I talk to, like when I talk to them and I say what I do and I travel around and have different adventures, some of the big fears they have are those fears that you just mentioned, like they, might be afraid of traveling alone, or they might be afraid of going outside their comfort zone or their country and not having the support of their social group or their family around them. And especially people who haven't done travel before or haven't done much travel, those fears are like very real for them, and they're just like super afraid of going out because they're afraid of the unexpected and what could happen, of like things getting stolen or them getting injured or hurt. Have you experienced those type of fears before you go traveling? And maybe what are some of the best ways that you found to overcome those fears when you go traveling?
That's a good question. Initially, I never am fearful of anywhere I go. I like to think that the world's a very beautiful place. There's more good than bad, and that goes all around the world, not just here or the places I've been to. I think there's a lot of good out there, and when I tell people what I do, I think I open up and I'm very comfortable with what I'm going to do, knowing that there isn't going to be any problem, that I am optimistic, that nothing bad is going to happen. But the fear comes in when I tell people that, and they see my optimism and they mistake it for naivety, and then they tell me that something bad's going to happen. So I come forward with this positivity and tell them that I'm going on the Trans-Siberian Railway. It's going to be an amazing trip. And then they come back and be like, oh, well, good luck. It was nice knowing you. You're going to die. And you get that from enough people. And even when I first was going on my, solo trips, I would get that that response. And then that would make me question. That would make me say, am I going to die? And then I'd start looking up safety and precautions, blah, blah, blah. But I never got that from my close family. I never got that from my father, or from my mother, or from my brothers, or from my significant other. So I would try to block those sounds out, those people telling me that I was going to, because I knew deep down inside where my family came from and where that part of the world is and how people behave there, and sort of just through stories that the chances of something bad happening are very low, lower than, say here in Los Angeles. So if you just look at the statistics, we don't live in safe places, but people kind of regurgitate the media that comes out, and they say, oh, well, Mexico, it's run by cartels, and all these tourists die, or if when you go there, something bad's going to happen. That's like saying that when someone goes to LA, they're going to get shot in the drive-by. I mean, yes, there are, iconic or I guess crimes that represent a region, but those things don't happen all the time. They happen amongst each other. And when you just take the negativity and you exploit that, or you blow it up, and you allow yourself to think about that, then you're going to be scared. So I guess that one piece of advice I can give anyone is, it's easier said than done, but do not worry. Like, worry when it happens. Worry when someone's got a gun to your head saying, give me your wallet, but that's not going to happen. And the worst thing that can happen is that you get your wallet stolen, or you get injured, or something really bad happens. But that's not that's the same thing as in life. And if you live your life worrying every single day about, someone's going to rob me or someone's going to kill me, you're not going to live fully. And that's in your house, in your neighborhood, in your city, in your state, in your country. Same goes for travel. So it's just like travel is a metaphor to life. And if you can just live life and take that same way that you live, and you replace it to travel, then you should be fine. And just, hopefully I'm a voice that people can listen to and say, it's okay. Like, it's okay to be scared. Like, use that energy, use that fear to buy that plane ticket, use that fear to prove to yourself that you can do it. And to those people that say they can't, because those people that tell you that you can't, they're jealous, and because they haven't, I guess, built up the courage to do something that you're doing. So the one thing that they can do is to pull you down. And I guess that's really all I can say. Not all I can say, but that's
that's really good. That's definitely wise words. Like I say something similar. Like, when people are afraid and they're saying that all these bad things can happen, usually they haven't been traveling themselves, or they're getting advice from people who haven't traveled and haven't experienced it. And I always say to them, like, don't take anyone's word on life. Like, you should experience it and then make your own decision about the situation. So if you might be afraid of travel, go traveling and see how it is. And every time that I've been to a place where I'm like, oh, I'm not sure, maybe it's, it's a little bit dodgy, like in Colombia or things like that, I've gotten there and it's like, wow, this is like super safe and super fun and normal. And if I was to listen to people's fears that haven't been there, and then decide not to go there based on those fears, it would just limit the amount of travel I do and the amount of experiences I can enjoy dramatically, because I'm basing my life basically on somebody else's advice. And so I highly recommend, going out and experiencing and then making your own decisions from that. And if you have a bad experience in a certain place, then you can decide that that place is not for you, and you can, travel to different destinations.
Exactly. It's like eating a meal or tasting food for the first time. If someone told you mangoes are disgusting, and you listen to them, then you never experience the delicious taste of a mango. So like, you have to at least take a bite and see what you think. Everyone's got different taste buds, and same goes for travel. Some are into luxury, some are into budget, some are into camping, some are into, river trips, whatever. There's so much out there. It's like, travel is like, people think of travel as this one little thing out of a bunch of other stuff. There's travel, there's sports, there's finance, but travel is all encompassing. There's sports travel. There's like, travel is just moving from one place to another. It's the most generic category in the world, yet they put it into this little things like travel. Travel is dangerous. Travel is scary. Travel is this. It's like, no, travel is whatever the hell you want it to be. Just like wake the hell up and figure out what it is that you like in life, and then travel for it. You know, when you're looking for love, go travel for it, because it ain't coming to you. No one's visiting wherever the hell you're from to find love, because you're not opening yourself up.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, you have to, expose yourself in some way.
Awesome. And I found that in terms of creating the right mindset, if you want to travel or if you want to improve a certain area of your life, having a really good mastermind or a really good group of people that you sort of surround yourself with and you get influenced by is a very important key in terms of enabling you to do that activity or to travel. How have you found is the best way to bring those positive people into your life and
Hmm.
weed out the people that maybe are negative and giving you sort of bad advice and attracting those people that really support the direction that you want to go?
Yeah, right. In the beginning, I was kind of a loner. Like I used travel as an escape. It wasn't more about like I want to travel and see the world and taste new things and meet new people. It's more about just like I don't like where I'm at right now, so maybe there's something somewhere else. It's like grass is greener on the other side type of syndrome that I had. Growing up in Chicago, I'm like I don't like it here. I don't like the attitude. Maybe I'm a very sensitive person too, so I would like sense things. I'm like I don't know. There's a lot of tension going on in the streets right now. Like get me out of here. So I went to school in Hawaii because I wanted to go as far away as I could. In my mind, that was like the place that I guess that was my limit. I'm like, okay, I'm still in America, but I'm somewhere exotic and exciting. So early on, I didn't surround myself. Maybe it's because I found toxicity in a lot of places that I was at outside of my family. And I knew my family was always there. My family, since travel is sort of in the DNA, I can leave and know that my family is always welcoming back. So when I did escape, I didn't truly escape. I always had family nearby, whether it was, via email or a phone call. I knew my brothers were there, my parents were there if I ever had a question or anything. And growing up, family was sort of paramount in everything. I grew up very, very close to my family. So the more people I added to my network or my circle, I think the less trusting I became. So I tried to weed just people out in general. It was me, my family around me, and then traveling around and in search in some ways for good people, because I had some good friends, growing up, but everyone had their own interests and their own past, and I wanted to find people that spoke my language, that was very into the exact same stuff that I was into. And you spend your life looking for those people, and it's not consciously. You're not like, okay, well, I'm here in Rome, time to find some people, but you put out into the world what you are of who you are, and those people, the people that you like, gravitate towards you. So and eventually you find your small group and you stick to those people. But it takes a lifetime. It takes forever. And I think if you go into it confident, knowing that there are some people that have your support, then you're off to a really good start. And I think family is just the inevitable proximity of trust and faith that you can put into people, and then yeah, you keep going from there. But I don't know if I answered your question or not.
No, it was,
But
it was, it was sort of a good monologue. The I found, like when I was just listening to you then, it sounded like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you had a set of values or a set of general feelings that you didn't like the situation that you're in and you wanted to get out of it, and maybe you didn't know exactly what type of lifestyle or people you wanted to be around, but you knew that it wasn't at the current situation where you're at, so you moved away. And I've found in my own life, when I've had values and more defined values, it's definitely helped in finding those values. So, like, if you value travel, then you'll find ways to travel. And if you value, um, you know, always sort of having positive people around you, then you'll just naturally weed out people that aren't very positive and get around people that are more positive. And having values and having defined values, if you ever define them, say, yes, I like this and I don't like this, has been tremendously helpful in my development. How have you found having values has helped you?
Hmm. Um, I don't know. I'm open to other people's values too. So, I understand that a value, is not synonymous with compatibility, but as long as people have values, and I see that people maybe value something in a similar way as I value something, it allows me to create a connection to a person or a world that I don't understand. I probably never will fully understand, but I will grasp the similarity in that we both strive for something that means something. So when I have with my values and I see someone with theirs that I may not agree with, at least I understand the pride that that person has in the value, and I can associate with that because I know how proud I am of my values and my, I guess, my state of existence. So I think that's helped me be more open to people, to know that we are all different. But if I see someone that is passionate about something and holds on to their values, then I know exactly that feeling, that little magic, whatever that is, that pride muscle, whatever you want to call it. So I know that that person is doing something that they're supposed to do, that are fulfilling their destiny because they're holding on to those values. But I've changed a lot through the years too, and I've realized when I look back after all the years of travel and moving from place to place that I've become a different person, and I've accepted a lot of other people's life and their experiences. So yeah, I hope that I answered that. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained right now. The wine's just hitting me in the head.
That's fine. That's fine. And so, with your travel series and documenting your travel, and I'm assuming living in LA as well, you've got into filmmaking and documenting your adventures around the world. If people want to do the same and get better at filming travel and filming their different adventures that they go on, what are some first tips or basic tips that they can do to capture more of their experience effectively?
Yeah, definitely. Lose the fear if you have any, in regards to traveling and filming. One of the hardest things I remember doing is seeing a perfect shot, a perfect opportunity to film something, but not, to see something so great and then not have the courage to bring out the camera. Make yourself seen, because when you are traveling, you kind of want to be on the low key. You don't want people to notice you. You already are fluorescent. You're emanating like crazy. People see you and they're like, wow, that guy's a tourist. He clearly does not belong.
Yeah.
And especially if you try to look like you blend in, then you look even crazier to them. So make yourself be seen, because you're trying to blend in. Everyone's trying to blend in. Everyone's just trying to be discreet and not be seen. Make yourself not loud, but when you bring out the camera, when it's that one action, that one decision that you make in your brain, being like, something crazy is going on, or this guy looks really interesting, I'm going to film him, or I'm going to ask him for permission. The second you make that action to grab that camera, whatever it is, if it's in your pocket, it's in your bag, and you consciously capture that moment, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that moment, that balls, just grabbing your balls and filming moment, because that's the hardest thing. And you'll be surprised if you're patient with yourself, and it takes time, but it's easy to film the stuff that everyone else is filming. It's easy to film the Eiffel Tower when you're in France, because you look around, you see everyone else doing it, so you don't feel like you're standing out. But when you're on a public, let's say, for example, when you're on a bus in Panama and you're going from one local village to another, and you're on a bus with people who can't afford a camera, probably have never seen a camera like yours, and you take it out and you film it with confidence, yes, you are noticed, people see you, but try to do that, try to build the courage to be seen, and you won't regret it. You'll be so happy that you capture something. I mean, obviously don't just nilly-willy start filming people without their permission, but use judgment, but have the courage to film, because you already grabbed the courage to travel to this place. Now take it to another level. Now bring out that camera, and you're gonna be sweating, you're gonna be freaking out, you'll be like, oh dude, why am I doing this? Everyone's gonna think I'm so weird. You're already weird, you don't belong there. They're already looking at you, you already look strange. Now look stranger. Who cares? And if they punch you, if they steal it, well, you tried, but that's not gonna happen. No one's chances are, when you do bring the camera out and you start filming, people see that you're open to their culture, everyone gets excited. People want to jump on camera. They want to see what they look on camera. So take that to bring the camera. When in doubt, whip it out. That's what I'm just.
Wise words for life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, and I've found myself as I've done more videos, and I usually do video blogs and talk about topics with a backdrop. So I've done it in different public parks and public places, and while I'm on the road. And definitely at the beginning, I had a lot of anxiety because I'm standing in front of a tripod and a camera and talking to it, and there's people walking by and looking, and the more that you do it, the more comfortable you get. So say if you've got a trip planned and you want to film it and you want to film yourself or your partner or whoever you're going with, you can practice before you leave. You can go around and just film, just get used to filming yourself and filming different people in your hometown or your home city, and so you just get more comfortable to it. And so when you travel, you're already sort of used to a bit of social pressure and eyes looking at you, and that can be an effective tool to help you document it. But I definitely recommend documenting because if you're like me, I've got a pretty bad memory. And if you go through all of these crazy adventures, they start to sort of blend together and you start
yeah.
forgetting the details. But if you film it or you take photos, it sort of immortalizes it, and you get to relive the fun, the next day or whenever you watch the footage, and you can share it with friends. And yeah, I've found it enhances travel to be able to capture your adventures
And it's
on
proof,
camera.
in a lot of ways it's proof. People will be like, you tell someone a story and it's a wild, crazy story. And I'll make this quick, but
Yeah.
that's another reason why I got into it. Because I was traveling and, had some crazy adventures, but they lived only as stories, and they still live as great stories. But no one, people believed them, but they didn't really feel they weren't involved in the story as much because maybe I didn't explain it as much, or they didn't believe me. Maybe they thought that was lying. So in a lot of ways, documenting proves that you experience that, and to be able to capture those life affecting moments or those life changing stories. Then it goes without explaining. You don't have to prove to anybody it's there. You have it, and that's what's the beauty of social media is you create something, or you capture it and you put it out there, and you don't have to prove to anyone or say I've done this, I've done that. You're being yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and also it gets better. Like the videos, when you start making videos of travel or whatever your adventures are, they just get better and better, and you see the opportunities of like a really good clip or a really good segue that you can do, and your videos get better. Because I know at the beginning some people just like press record and then 20 minutes later they press stop and nothing much has
Hmm.
happened, and that's the worst for editing because then you have to sit through like so much footage, and then people usually just leave it on their computer and never look at it again. But the more you sort of film and travel and look for different shots and stuff, you become better and better, and then you can start creating really fun videos to watch. So when you share it with people, they're very engaged with the story that you're telling through video, and it's not just the classic thing that always comes to mind is like a child's dance routine or dance recital where someone just holds the camera at the one
Yeah.
spot and for like half an hour, and then yeah, it's hard to watch because it's the same thing over and over for like
Yeah,
half an hour.
exactly. And go into it though willing to make mistakes,
Mm.
and to you know to, it'll all come naturally, and but don't allow perfection to slow you down. You'll never be a great filmmaker, or as great of a filmmaker as you want to be, or as great of an editor as you want to be, because you'll constantly be challenging yourself, unless you're delusional and you think that 30-minute clip is what people want. But like, be open to criticism, but don't allow those things to like hold you back from even making the video in the first place. It's okay to make it, a crappy 25-minute video, but be open to feedback afterwards. If someone, a professional in the field or a friend or someone who you trust, gives you some good advice, listen to the advice, implement it into the next video or the next, film, whatever you're working on. Just be open to failing and making mistakes. And that's, you hear that all the time about life, about everything. Just,
Yeah.
it's okay to mess up, and don't allow perfection to hold you back. Be like, oh, I want to make travel videos like Perlin, so this one isn't quite right, so maybe I just won't release it. That's not a good way to grow. You have to just do what you're capable of and what your knowledge can create, and then go from there.
Awesome. Well, Peter, This has been a great discussion. There's been a lot of knowledge and tips shared. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're a very busy man. If people want to get in contact with you or they want to find out more about your material and things you're up to at the moment, where is the best place that they can find that information?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on here. I had a great time. It was a great discussion. Went by fast. It was like 30 minutes of chatting. But yeah, if you want to find me on social media or if you want to find me on YouTube and watch some of my adventures, you can visit me at youtube.com/pdrop. That's PDROP. And on social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, it's Peter Bragiel, my full name. So yeah, pdrop on YouTube and Peter Bragiel for everywhere else. And also my website, www.intransit.tv. Sorry, I'm like, there's a bunch of stuff. It's like, what do you promote? Your YouTube page, your website, your Facebook. But yeah,
and if anyone wants to find out more about my material, it's mostly on YouTube, and my YouTube channel is Perlin Earth. You can also find me at Facebook/Perlin's Adventure Blog. And I'll put all of these links for me and Peter down underneath this video for you to get access easily.
Click those links.
Down
it's all
below,
about
people.
The links, man. Yeah, links. Go ahead and subscribe. Check out my past video. Yeah, do all that stuff.
All that fun stuff. Cool. All right. Thank you very much, Peter. This has been a great conversation, and I look forward to talking to you in the future.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Perlin. Have a great time in Thailand.
I will.
All right, man.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Later.
Bye.